Thank you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your wonderful work leading the nation in the fight for single payer, for Medicare for all. Thank you to the National Nurses Association, formerly the California Nurses Association, for being a real driving force to bring Medicare for all to the American people, which the American people are really clamoring for. So it's a real honor to be able to be that voice for Medicare for all in this election and for so much more. And before I get too far into this, I just want to be sure to give a big thank you to Mary and Kathleen for arranging this wonderful gathering tonight. And also to the Santa Clara Green Party, to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Palo Alto, and to all of you for being here, and also to the Single Payer Association for helping to arrange this gathering tonight. And we are on this just amazing roll right now. We've just rolled in from Northern California from visiting 4 of the college campuses where we had just an amazing, incredible reception. That followed on the heels of being at the gathering of the Coalition Against Nukes, the Coalition for a Nuclear-Free Future, to put an end to nuclear weapons and nuclear power, which are equally dangerous. And before that, we had just come from the Occupy Wall Street 1-year anniversary. And before that, from the Poverty Tour with Cornel West and Tabitha Smiley, where all of the presidential candidates have been invited to speak on that poverty tour, and as you might imagine, I was the only one to show up. All along the way, we've just had this incredible reception. I should mention also the Chicago Teachers Union. And it feels like in this campaign, we get to bear witness to this rebellion that is actually in full swing, this movement for democracy and justice that is rising up all over America and which is clamoring for a voice in this election and a choice at the polls that is not bought and paid for by Wall Street, and we are really proud to bring that choice into this election. So, it's really a credit to all of us that we are at this incredible historic moment. It really is a perfect storm for political transformation. And it's a historic moment that we have all worked to bring us to, where democracy and justice are rising up all over the country, really all over the planet, including the democracy revolutions in the Middle East. And I might add the incredible achievement of the students in Quebec who have just achieved a rollback. And I think they are pointing the way forward for us, because there is so much that young people have at stake. And to look at the agendas of the Democratic and Republican parties in this race, you would think that young people are public enemy number 1, because they are nowhere to be found on this agenda. Yet they should be the first priority, not the last priority, and they are in our campaign. We are calling, thank you, you can clap for that. Because it's young people, who are really bearing the burden of where we're going and where we are, yet you don't see them or their issues given the light of day at all from the corporate-sponsored campaigns here. So we have this incredible burden of student debt We just heard from the Federal Reserve last week that they're going to be undertaking yet another bailout for the Wall Street banks and for the mortgage brokers. They're expecting to spend perhaps another $1 trillion bailing out Wall Street yet again. Instead of bailing out the crooks who got us into this mess with their waste, fraud, and abuse on Wall Street, we should be bailing out the students who've been the victims of that mess and putting an end to it. We are calling for free, tuition-free public higher education, which is the way. And we can afford this. We know from the GI Bill, we did this before after the Second World War. We paid, as taxpayers, we paid for the college education of more than 1 million returning soldiers. And what did we find? For every dollar we as taxpayers invested in public higher education, we received $7 in economic benefits distributed to the whole country. That is why it's not just something we can afford, it's something that we cannot afford not to do. And in the same way that we have provided education through a high school degree throughout the 20th century. We did that because it was essential for economic security. So in the 21st century, guess what? You need a college degree for economic security. So it's only a matter of justice that we provide it. By the same token, it's young people who are graduating to these unconscionable high unemployment rates of 50% unemployment and underemployment. That's not okay. We can fix this unemployment problem, and we can fix it with a program called the Green New Deal, and that is the centerpiece of our campaign, an emergency program to actually put an end to unemployment as we jumpstart the green economy for the 21st century. That, in turn, puts an end to another crisis, the climate crisis, which is rolling out, across our landscape day by day with the worst droughts, the rising food prices, the worst firestorms, and heat waves, the hottest 12 months on record, and we have only begun to see what this climate crisis is about. This is the devastation we are seeing with less than 1 degree centigrade temperature rise, and there is already predicted 6 degrees of temperature rise by the end of the century. It is our young people who are inheriting that crisis in full force, and as a matter of simple fairness, we need to step up to the plate and enact the Green New Deal to put an end to the climate scourge, to put an end to unemployment, and fix both of these problems in one fell swoop. We know how to do it. We did this in the New Deal that got us substantially out of the Great Depression in the 1930s. We hear from Barack Obama and Mitt Romney that we're just going to stay the course. We're just going to keep doing what hasn't worked for the last several decades. We're going to continue with this failed policy of trickle-down economics, of providing deregulation for Wall Street, providing more dirty energy and tax breaks for the so-called job creators who are creating jobs in India and China. Enough of that policy. It's time for a people-powered economy that actually delivers the goods for everyday working people. It's not rocket science. It's just a matter